11.
Members of the Ranga, that you will give us wisdom and guidance. We pray for all the communities in the district and honest in our discussions and together in unity for the welfare of all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Black box to as in chambers, and just thank you for your interest. I'm sure that your interest in the request for duck signage. I have no that have been advised of a call for apologies. I've got apologies for Councillor here or Councillor Dalgety, everybody else is here. So could somebody please move those against carried? The stage for a business is as is, unless staff.
Oh, it's up to you. No. It's up to you.
Thank you. Move to item 6, the confirmation of minutes, looking for alterations and corrections, starting on page number 6. Starting page 6, alterations and corrections 6, 7, 8, 9. That should take, sorry, it goes only to page. Councillor Sharlam.
Your worship, on page 2, the council adjusts the annual payment for the MOU Brits Community Trust. There was to action regarding that about with the trust.
And yeah, the follow-up action would be separate. Yeah. But are you looking for a change in the minutes?
Oh no, sorry, no change in the minutes, just a follow-up action. Yes.
Any further potential changes to the minutes? Would somebody like to move a receipt, please? Councillor Duckendale, Councillor Afee, those in favour, those against, carried. Take us through to item 7, the follow-up actions, and staff. Who's taking us through that?
Yes, I'm happy to take you through, your worship. So the one that's sitting there is it was the query around the cost of the annual plan that we've estimated around $50,000. That's not additional costs that started already getting paid that year, but that's we've equated to the number of hour consultation.
So presumably you're also sitting down.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Would somebody like to move the receipt of that? Councillor Hainsworth seconding. You wish to have a question?
The status comment is complete. Do we need an action that naturally drop off?
I think it would just naturally drop off.
Thank you.
Should the follow-up action for the MOU with
Point. Staff, can you give me direction?
For you, your worship, that's one that I've got on the follow-up actions.
Okay.
If you want it on the OU, I can put it there, but it's currently sitting or we as staff follow up on and do.
Yeah, no, I would be happy to have it in there. Then it's
Thank you very much. Recommendation from Councillor Wilson, Councillor Hainsworth to the vote. Those against, motion's carried. Thank you. The Mayor's report. I'm certainly going to read, but I will wish to comment. First of all, I have written Elizabeth Mortland. I'm happy to congratulate her on behalf of receiving a King's Service Medal. Written to Rodney Wong, his honours, even though he is not elected across a number of districts through ours. So I've sent those. I would say also that we have started the meetings of communities around possible amalgamations, possible reform of local governments, etc. That's a work in progress. But what is becoming startlingly obvious is the timeframes we have been given by government exclude an in-depth analysis of this. Dates from that later. Places I have been. Questions. It's certainly been an incredibly busy time. But I'll move then the receipt of my report. I'm looking for a second to do that. Councillor Wilson seconding. Are you thirding or you?
I'm thirding. I am. I'm thirding.
Yes. We'll take that as given. Put it to the vote. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. There are some recommendations there. First of all, these are recommendations from the Central Districts Board of Joint Shareholders Committee held on 22nd of May 2026. And firstly, that the committee report the progress that's worked to each of the council year, and the chair of the committee present those. Second, that the Joint Shareholders Committee review it. And third, that the Joint Shareholders Committee minutes be circulating according to the process set out. And fourthly, that any Joint Shareholders Committee recommendations would be to be put to each of the councils by the Shareholders Committee representatives for that council. The block, looking for a seconder to that, and these rise out of the expectations between and councils. It's gone into that by the three near the stage of form. There will be a series of other MOUs. Very much it is a time of Dave, who represents this council, and Marge Henney, who is also representing our council and interacts with Ngā Tapawa.
Question, Your Worship, if I may, but further comment in support of your comment. The purpose of these recommendations to ensure the flow of information back to your communities respectively. So that is the document. Yeah, just supporting what you're saying.
Thank you. And we've got Chris Dryburgh. Chris, we're just talking about the recommendation council now in terms of the shareholders committee to this, and we'll invite also comment or this has been an of expectations, i.e. the expectations our council has on the performance and reporting of the new entity board. The new entity board is an entity that has now been set up. That is not a case of whether this exists. How frequently should they report to us? Chris, welcome to the room. Is there anything
It sounds like you've covered it very well, Mr. Gay.
that the chief executives and staff have put in place as what's the hair?
Executive Director.
Executive Director. I think I've got to get that right.
Thank you.
Any other speakers to this? Otherwise, I'll just put it to the vote. So I've moved those four as a block. Put it to the vote. Those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you very much. And thank you, Chris, for coming over. And of course, you're welcome to stay for the full council meeting if you wish,
He's here for the next couple of items.
but you're here for later.
Yes.
Executives report, and I'll pass.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our sections and stop for questions. So maybe if I roll 2, 3 and 4, those aspects.
Just for thinking about that, can somebody move the receipt of Councillor Sharla and Councillor Beards as against? Carried. So you're rolling together. Sorry, the first section.
Just the first sections, yes, just submissions, and there's a table. There's a comprehensive app with this. I've just asked Crystal because the minor amendments didn't seem to make it into this report. So I'm just wondering, Chris Dryburgh, can I put you on the spot to outline what some of those minor amendments to the Constitution were, and that you're comfortable that nothing is to be flagged in front of council? Sorry. Do you want to come slow? Yeah. Sorry, we're trying to see if we can see them. I just note too that council, because this had already been included in my report, so.
Sure, Koto. Lovely to be here again and see you. And welcome before, Mr. Mayor. So, Whenua did, she sent it out as just a memo to report. So just to give you a bit more context on in December, you may remember shareholders agreement at that stage. And then not long ago, about a month ago or so, or a bit over, so agreed an amendment to holders agreement and that was mainly to Central Districts Water as a sign. And you may, I don't know if you'll remember, but when to those, you also agreed to, each council did this, the ability to sign off non-material amendments. you know, and just things that hadn't been picked up. So, and as part of that delegation to, you know, so that you were aware of in this, in this, yeah. So if you go through, you see the odd, you know, if you look at that 12, 13, you know, the provisions of, yeah, that we've put an extra that in there. So, and what happened was when just at the time that the Constitution was about to be loaded to the Companies Office, the lawyers did another check and realized that there was a few tidy ups that they'd missed the first. And then with the shareholders agreement, same thing. We execution versions again just done another quick look and said, "Oh, actually, sorry about this, but picked up a few typos." And I guess, but just in the interest of keeping things tidy, the consequence, I can assure you of that. This is just reporting back so that we can close the loop, so you can see exactly.
Councillors, you've had the terms of the changes as being of material. Would then somebody like to move recommendation 2 that council notes those non-material changes and etc. Somebody, Councillor Baird, do you wish to speak to it? Against? It's the vote no. Carried. And I'm sure other councils, because they are incredibly minor.
7. So this is funding required for the result of our February event. Mr. Black has given advice and at the Assets Committee workshop, but there is a requirement for a council resolution, which is why it's up here. I'm sure Darren would be happy to take any further questions if there are any.
Do you wish to speak to it first? And Mike,
other than to say we've exhausted it, to not have in the short term.
my several years further expenditure to fund it in years 27, 28, 28, 28, 29 at 55,000. I'd have to say that the likelihood of other events occurring in that time frame is reasonably high. And the risk is that you have a compounding series of decisions in the future, front loading the cost of roading, rather than accepting that it has happened and just either adding it to debt or funding it in some other way.
So accepting that through the chair, even adding it to debt in some other way, we still have to pay back that debt and the cost of interest, which would hit the unsubsidised roading as the activity. It also supports conversations about LTP. We will need to look at that resilient targeted roading reserve that we have.
So in front loading it the way that your disclosure statement and annual reports in order.
No, there's no need to do anything different. It's just simply when we do the unsubsidised component of Mr. Black's roading budget and the LTP, there will be 55k for year 1 and year 2, which will clear that debt off. And then we will have that conversation about how we front foot this.
Yeah, but I want council to understand assets.
It's right to raise it. However, to further works in other areas of our program to try and explain has to be done. So if we start to delay other works, we have a similar effect in our other budgets going forward. So it's a kind of both ways, very palatable option, but this one less than that. So
I mean, I was doing the work and it is at a favourable position, and councillors need to understand that the risk, if you don't proceed with it, that you could lose some of that favourable funding position in the future would be my understanding of risk as well. Darren, is there anything you wish to add to the conversation?
No, just you hit the nail on the head there around the advanced side, because we're on 5+20 for this final portion of it. The funding rules allow us to get an extra 20% once we've spent more than 10% of our approved program, so we're into that for this amount.
What is it? 83%? 86. 66. So the government is the principal funder of this, as always with our roading.